We go. Let's see. I cue you in when we start, you know what I'm saying, getting to the point when people are, you know what I'm saying, chiming in and stuff.
I got you.
Getting the list built up. I know you following right now anyway, so trying a different approach. Like right now, I got the phone on speaker, and it's by my microphone. So I tried this a couple of times with a couple of different people, and you know, it worked out pretty well because, you know, like I can't filter through all the comments, and I'm still new to this whole thing, and you know what I'm saying, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And
Right.
so far, so far so good. The the speakerphone thing works because it ain't killing the mic or nothing like that, and everybody can hear what everybody's saying. So
I got you.
I got the idea from this, man. It's been like multiple pieces. Yeah, people showing up too, man. That's good right there. Hey, Adam, what's happening, man? So yeah, so like earlier today, I was well, first off, before we get to the business, man, like how your family doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that. How the wife and kids?
We good over here, man.
Yeah.
Everything's straight. We making it. Girls are good. Everybody's straight.
Okay. All right. So now that we got some people here, let's see. We're at number one on the list off the top, as you already know. Everybody's tuning in. I appreciate y'all showing up and everything, man. Welcome to Code Talk. That's what I'm calling it for right now. I might be subject to change, depending on how I feel. We got a couple topics to discuss, and the top of the list is going to be the government shutdown. And, you know, we want to talk about some firsthand accounts. Like the things that we do know is that the shutdown is ongoing and it's affecting certain federal employees. And it's largely due to the fact that, you know, the president is throwing a temper tantrum to get what he wants. And that's the short end of it. The other part of it is that the language used to talk about the shutdown is largely hit or miss with people's understanding because either they're not, most people aren't federal employees, so they don't know the full ins and outs of it. They just know that shutdown never indicated of anything that's good. So, so the things that we do know is that the TSA is affected. These are things that are relative to what we do every day, how we travel, stuff like that. We do know that certain services won't be available, and there will be some impacts to people that are on government assistance to some degree. Some a little bit more protected than others. And then the next thing that hits home for a lot of people is just the job thing. So who I have to speak on a firsthand account is my brother-in-law, Antrone Rogers. And he is he's an air traffic controller in the state of New Mexico, specifically Albuquerque. And him and his wife are both affected by the shutdown right now. And I think it's a good idea to let him speak and talk firsthand. And then whatever questions you guys have, you guys can ask him directly. And I'll try to field those questions as they come, you know what I'm saying, so he can see it. I think he's logging in right now so he can see the same feed that I'm looking at in the comments. So first and foremost,
you know what? I think on my end, I don't see him. I don't see all of them like you. I see some, not all of them though.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Like, just talk firsthand on like what's been the immediate. Let's just talk about the paycheck because we go to work first, right? We go to work to get our check. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So tell me how this bag, you know what I'm saying, how the bag getting affected right now.
I mean, just imagine, you know, you go to work 2 weeks and you expect a paycheck and somebody got your check, man. You ain't getting it. Mm-hmm. And they holding on to it. That's the extent of it right there. Like, you know, I challenge anybody who goes to work for a living to, when they get their next paycheck, let somebody hold it until the government shutdown is over with and see how that affects your life.
Yeah. Hey, so tell me them numbers that you brought up, you know what I'm saying, the other day when we talked about, they gave you like a little bit of a piece of something. What was that?
And you know, it's funny because I don't even know where it came from or why I even got what I got. I was expecting a goose egg, but you know, my gross was $26 and some change, and they
say that again. I just want to make sure people heard that.
$26. I don't remember what the change was. It don't even really matter what the change was. Talk about the front number.
Yeah.
It was $26. And when they took whatever they took for whatever they, for whatever reason they took it, it was $5.85.
So they gave you $26 on the gross, and you got $5.80 after whatever after whatever FICA took, right?
That's what, yeah.
Okay. So what have you been doing to try to mitigate that? Because I've seen like where banks have offered some leniency, some understanding, or whatever. So talk about your personal experience with that.
Well, we've been kind of fortunate on our end, man. Like you said, the banks have been kind of, they know what's going on. They're very understanding. Mortgage companies, things like that. My wife and I, we kind of smart when it comes to finances. We got, we had a little bit put up and things like that. So, it'll tie us over for a little bit, but, once that run out, we got to go Uber.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
I mean, we know, I know from, just the work you do, you make good money. It's more than enough. But my cousin and I, we talk a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like I call him on my ride to work. I call him at lunchtime when I'm going home to go check on the dogs or whatever, right? And then I call him sometime when I'm coming home from work. And you called when I was talking to him. And his conversation is going to be very important after we have this discussion, because I told him to keep that same energy and bring that to this conversation, because we're talking firsthand account. And I'm already thinking solutions, you know what I'm saying, after that, because it's only so long you can just deal with a problem before you got to find a way to mitigate the solutions on it, you know what I'm saying, so you don't get back in the situation, right? But with the type of money that you guys make as air traffic controllers, there's a reality in some of our music that's hit us back and forth, and my life has been revolving around, you know what I'm saying, Andre 3000's words, you know what I'm saying, on elevators, you know what I'm saying, this part where he was talking about, like, if you don't move your feet, then I don't eat. So we like, you know what I'm saying, neck and neck, Yeah. So, like, that's really what it is, man. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of money you make. The minute that your money stops, you know what I'm saying, you one play away from being under the bridge. You know what I'm saying? You one play away from, you know what I'm saying, from rehab, whether it be financial or whatever it might be, So, like, people get confused about how much money they make until they realize that that's it. As long as you work for someone, your livelihood depends on a bunch of people, you know what I'm saying, getting along. And the minute that they don't get along, you know what I'm saying, an argument on one end is a stoppage of a paycheck for somebody else. And that's really crazy to think about. You know what I'm saying? You are literally one argument away from not getting a check. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And in an argument that you're not even involved in,
Right.
So, and then the other salty part is that you work with people that voted for this food. You know what I'm saying? And man, what's that dialogue like? Like, what kind of conversations are you guys having between coworkers aside from this right here?
Well, like you said, there are some that did vote for them and things like that. And generally, they're pretty quiet right now.
Right.
I don't know the conversation that they're having with each other, but we had a gentleman that tried to defend the wall. I wasn't at work at this particular time. It was something I heard about, and he got the business. He got the business. He definitely got the business. I heard about it secondhand, but they know what's going on. They know where they messed up at, and they're having to suffer for it now.
Yeah. So it's like one of the phrases I always use, man. It's like, you don't know, you know what I'm saying? You don't know a turd stink until it's up your nose for some people. And, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to see that to know, what that thing could potentially smell like. But like this whole situation just, it stinks, you know what I'm saying? For lack of better words. It's an unfortunate, you know what I'm saying, way of doing business. This is how business gets handled. You know what I'm saying? Not at the expense of people that I can reach out and touch, just like you. You know what I'm saying?
And I just want to say too, man. Like I don't, people may not have a full understanding of what air traffic controllers do. We are not the people out there with the orange wands. That is not us.
Y'all landing the planes in the tower. Y'all in the tower directing traffic.
We clear airplanes for takeoff. We clear them the land. We make sure they don't hit each other in the sky. We make sure they don't run into mountains. We make sure, we can get them around weather as much as possible. We get you in and out of the turbulence as much as possible. Like, imagine you have all that pressure of making sure you are getting these people home to their families. And then when you get home to your family, you got to worry about, you know what I'm saying?
You got to feed your family. You got to worry about if you're going to have your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. That's
to be honest with you, like,
that's garbage, man.
I understand border security is important and things like that, but it's not important to me enough right now for you to be holding my money hostage.
The irony is that, not even the irony, just the cold reality of it is that all of this is designed to protect. The rhetoric is designed to reinforce the need to protect America, right? But you're not even protecting the things that make America run.
Right.
Like, I don't know how you do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes no sense. Oh, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like, man, anything else you want the people to know, man? Because I want to call my cousin in a little bit, and I want to follow up this conversation with the right kind of heat, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Hey, listen, man, I don't have much to say. It's real. Mm-hmm. It's really real. You got real people. It's not just me. It's my colleagues, man. We have had a rigorous training to do what we do. We take pride in what we do. But we don't do it just because we love it. We do it because there was, we do it for a career. And you get paid for what you do as a career. And right now, it's just not happening.
Yeah, and the part, though, that also sucks is that you don't just treat it like a job. It's a way of life for you. It's a duty. It's a responsibility that you have to take care of the people. And it goes far beyond potentially losing your job, you know what I'm saying, behind a mistake at work. This is you just taking care of families, man.
Exactly.
So, well, there you have it, folks. That is a firsthand account of somebody that's impacted by the government shutdown. And a person that probably has landed your flight more than once, for those of you that like to travel or your loved ones like to travel. My brother-in-law probably landed one of their flights. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But that's how far separated we are from, a Facebook post or a news article to an actual raw conversation that led to this current predicament that we're in right now. So this is just a disagreement between one person, they're just throwing a temper tantrum. But that's so crazy that a temper tantrum, and a couple of tweets led to somebody shutting down the entire government and putting people out of work or without paychecks, rather. Not to mention, we didn't even get a chance to talk about the Homeland Security folks, security, like at the check-in and everything. But I'm going to discuss that more with my cousin in a second. Man, I appreciate you being available, D, and we'll chop it up.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all, man, for listening to me.
Absolutely, man. Hey, anytime.
All right, man.
Yep. All right, y'all. That was a pretty good discussion right there, man. I appreciate him for that. Can't talk about it enough. So now I'm about to call my cousin Drew, man. We're about to get it in. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we finna talk about how to fix this. So we didn't identify the problem. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time for a solution, or a string of solution or a form that creates that. Hey, Drew, you there, bro?
Yeah.
Hey, what's happening, man? Hey, turn the TV down in the back, man. Is that me? Oh, yeah. That is. Okay. All right. So, hey, everybody that's listening, this is my cousin, Andrew Davis. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we closer than cousins, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real when we talk on a regular basis. It's not just because we're just absolute family, but no, we click outside of that. Like, if we wasn't blood, we'd be blood. So that's how real it is. So we vent to each other about some things that impact, like our lives as men, family men, friends, and how we see the big picture and social equity issues and stuff like that. So this is who I was talking to before I spoke to my brother-in-law earlier today about what time he was going to be available for this. So one of the things that I instantly trigger to is like trying to solve a problem and how to avoid some things. after we find ourselves in a situation. So what one of the first things I brought up in our conversation today is that I talked about practicing group and community economics to mitigate the shutdown. And, you know, and the reason being, one of the first things I always fall back on when I talk about like people's reaction to, you know, like where we are socially and politically and how it impacts us financially is that how do we get here and why are we impacted by it? Because not saying that we shouldn't be impacted by it, but do you guys remember when the election results were validated and Trump won, and then, you know, there was a huge outcry from various communities, and mostly from the Black community. From what I pay attention to, the Black community was thoroughly pissed off and upset. The Proud Warriors didn't work to keep Trump out of office, and there was, you know, a lot of wallowing. You know what I'm saying? I saw Black people blaming each other for the election outcome, for choosing to or choosing not to vote or voting for the wrong person or whatever they did. But ultimately, there's certain factions of people that, you know, I paid attention to that didn't react, because I always pay attention to what isn't being said, because sometimes silence speaks, and it usually does. And one of the things that I noticed was that there was no uproar. There was pure excitement and joy from everybody that was either anti-Obama, pro-conservative, or whatever, that Trump got elected, because they felt like their vote counted, right? And then, but there was groups of people who all practice group economics that didn't say anything. So one of the major groups in that was, you know, the Jewish community, a large population of the Asian communities, you know what I'm saying, pick one, if they own nail salons, cleaners, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and all the other family-owned ventures, right, because they practice group economics. And so the people that were complaining the most, they were either in positions where they were dependent on government assistance to some degree, and they felt like that might have been threatened, or they were just outraged in a social manner because they were, you know what I'm saying, disgruntled with what the outcome was. So one of the things that, you know, we looked at is like, how do we create community and group economics, you know what I'm saying, at the lowest level. So that's when Drew comes in. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you talk from here, Drew. What you got, man?
Oh, well, this what we talked about earlier, man, just being inconvenienced, man, going out the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I was telling you earlier about the dude that's been on the in the vegetable truck.
Yeah,
the Black dude selling the vegetables or whatever, right?
Well, tell everybody about the vegetables. You know what I'm saying?
But it's this guy. He lives up the street from where I live or whatever, and I've probably been living in Montgomery maybe 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
That dude been there ever since I've been here.
Okay.
So never bought nothing from him. Never even thought about stopping over there, see what he had. None of that. I see it as to keep on going on my day.
Right.
But now that we are on this, we need to take over for each other type. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't stop us like that. Right. Like that's what we got to start doing. Like start somewhere small. Why am I going to Walmart to buy vegetables?
Yeah, especially if you're gonna drive past him to get to the Walmart.
Film, I ain't even looking to see what you got. I just need some tomatoes and onions, nothing big. I ain't even, you know what I'm saying? There ain't even a lot of vegetables going in my bag.
And he can't really bust my head that much for my tomatoes and onions. And if so, I ain't got no business going to Walmart anyway, right?
Right. And if he do tax me a little bit and it's for the cause, then so be it.
Yeah, you know. So basically, we got to get uncomfortable. And we got to get out of our routines of convenience and stuff. Like, you know, got to burn up that little bit of extra gas to go on the other side of town a little bit, or a couple blocks up the street, to go try to support people that look like us. You know what I'm saying? And then we start talking about Killer Mike's new joint that's coming out next week on Netflix, and it's called Trigger, right? I think that's what it was.
Right.
It's called Trigger.
Yep.
And man, look, y'all know for those of y'all that know me, y'all know I'm a huge Killer Mike fan, and not just because he's an artist, because he's an activist also. And sometimes he don't make every single point that I agree with, but the fact that he's doing something and he's creating leverage, you know what I'm saying? He ain't just running the checkup, you know what I'm saying? Creating his own leverage, you know. Now we have, you know, avenues to get these messages out to normalize what we would think traditionally would be radical, or saying the white folks gonna kill you if you say that. Well, we in a we have to not give a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of a larger point that I'm gonna get to later on when we discuss these things. But like in that, he's creating, you know what I'm saying, a dialogue where it's okay to say, I'm only gonna buy from black people for right now. You know what I'm saying? And what was that example that you had highlighted when he was in the strip club? That was hilarious, but it was a point though, right?
Right. It was funny as hell, but when the Asian strip was trying to give him a little lap dance, he was like, no racism, but you're not black. I'm only shopping black this week. And that's it. That was funny as hell. But that's how we gotta be on this shit.
Straight up. Like, we have to be that radical about it, man. Like, I felt like this, man. Like, I felt like even if we selling fake jewelry, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't wear no fake shit, but I need to be selling it though. If we buying it, I need to be selling it. If we rent it, I need to be owning it. I need to be the landlord. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how do we break those different barriers? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality of it, man. You can't sit up and act like, you know, it's too good for you. But like, if it's making money off of us by people that don't look like us, and then damn sure don't have no business doing nothing in our community or don't care enough, we need to break into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about that nowadays, you know? Like, one of my partners was like, man, you ain't gonna be able to sell no jewelry, this, that, and other. They got that market corner. I said, man, we gotta break into it. I said, if they start selling it, you know what I'm saying? If I stopped at every single, you know what I'm saying, well, somebody already doing that, then that mean it ain't for us, man. We ain't gotta go out here and reinvent nothing, man. Look, everything, like, we export fashion, bro. You know what I'm saying? We export trend. We validate trends. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I ain't never looked at something another ethnic group wore and be like, I need to get that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, that's hard.
Like, that's hard. No. Yeah, never did that. You know what I'm saying? Ever. Like, matter of fact, when you see other groups, you know what I'm saying, dress the way that we dress, and when it's inspired by us, they look like they trying too hard, but we look like it's supposed to be on us. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you ain't no cornball. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever that may or may not apply to some people. But my point is that we're already great. We got to learn how to use the resources that we have, you know what I'm saying, to make what we do consumable and you know what I'm saying, and marketable. Because like, we are, you know what I'm saying, free labor to some degree, you know what I'm saying, about fashion. Like, we're a test bed if you really think about it, right? If they say if they jump on it, it's gonna sell. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Bruh,
it's that easy.
Yeah,
ain't no meetings.
Yeah, ain't none of that. You know what I'm saying? They put some out. They wait for it to hit social media. You know what I'm saying? And that's the absolute test bed. We've been trendsetters. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, these are narratives that we already know. So, like, beyond us talking about it right now, we have to find a way to export it and keep it in house. When I say export it, I mean we need to have our name on the invoice, not on the purchase and paid. We got that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Carlos, that's a good phrase right there. Buy back the block. That sounds good, but what are you doing though? You know what I'm saying? Like these ideas, like, they become repetitive. They're canned phrases to some degree. Like, when people say stuff like, it is what it is, that's one of the worst ones. Like, that don't mean nothing to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of any canned cliche thing that you can immediately respond to, like John Madden narrating a football game. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, we got to start turning these things into tangible stuff that we can employ as a tactic, as a strategy. You know what I'm saying? Because they use the same thing when they sit down in these boardrooms after they finish their test bed and like, okay, it worked. Now, how do we get the money? You know what I'm saying, off of this? You know what I'm saying? Because it's already been proven by us. We have to find a way to do that for ourselves right now. And I am part of that process, you know what I'm saying, in terms of buying back the block. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple different properties, you know, and then, like I said, if we rent, I need to be the landlord. And that's my strategy right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's working because I'm building relationships off of, you know what I'm saying, good referrals and stuff like that. And it's a piece of a larger design for me, because my plan is that once we establish social equity and we got the people that's there, I can create a little bit of political leverage, you know what I'm saying, through social interaction. And we have to start where we are concentrated. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop looking at where we are as far as geography and look at that as our stronghold. That's our leverage point. You know what I'm saying? Like we done had some crazy, you know what I'm saying, words, you know what I'm saying, dropped as gems that we may or may not have overlooked, didn't get till now or whatever. But like Jay said, a critical one, you know what I'm saying, in his verse on What's Free on Meek Mill's album. He said, man, they'll let you run a checkup, but they'll never give you leverage. You know what I'm saying? So you might get paid. You look right. You look like you get money. But, like, what kind of leverage you got, though? You know what I'm saying?
You got influence.
Yeah, you got no influence, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you turn that fame that you get from around the way, how you turn all them Facebook likes and repostings and you know what I'm saying, and quotes and captions into something that we can leverage as, you know what I'm saying, social equity that turns into somebody saying, you know what, I got to get in their good favor in order to get my next, you know what I'm saying, thing accomplished. That's what some of the stuff that Killer Mike's probably going to. We got to make people earn our votes, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the national level politics. I'm talking about at the social, at the district level. You know what I'm saying? We have to, I'm not saying we shouldn't care about national politics, but we can't control things that we don't influence. Does that make sense?
Right.
like we gotta
start right here.
Correct. Like the things that black people do don't impact nobody but black people in America. Do we agree on that?
Right.
The things that white people do affect everybody in America. Do we agree on that?
Right.
So what can we control? The things that we do among us. Bottom line. That like these things that we talk about now, that's why like all of these other ways of looking at, you know, like people trying to box people in, you know what I'm saying, with entertainers and why we should or should not be supporting folks that's doing damage to our communities. No, we got to throw them away, man. They in the way. We don't need everybody, bro. We need the right people. That's just it. You know what I'm saying?
You just have to catch up later.
Yes, absolutely, man. You remember when you was in the Army and you be on a company run and the formation is moving all in one direction, the majority of the soldiers running, you know what I'm saying, on the same sheet of music and stuff, and somebody a little bit slower, you know? So you turn the formation around to go pick that one person up that's slower. You put them up in the front. So now we're going to run at their pace, right?
That was normally me, by the way.
All right, so we turn the formation around. We pick you up, right? You know, because we ain't leaving nobody behind. You know, that's the theory. That's what we left with. But we done turned the formation around 3 times. Now we late. You see what I'm saying? Now I got to, like I started out saying I'm going to run 5 miles. But now I got to choose if I'm going to run 3 or 4. Because you done turned my timeline upside down, right?
Yep.
We gotta leave some people behind, bro. It's just really what it is, man. Like I'm sorry.
They know where the unit at, man. They know where to get back.
Yeah, they know where it's at. They know what the rally point is. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to think that we needed everybody, but we don't, man. And it's sad to say that. It's not even sad. It's just the harsh reality of it. That reality is harsh, you know, and it's relentless. It's not just harsh, it's relentless. It's not letting up at no point in time. The windows for making mistakes and recovering are a whole lot smaller as we get older. Most of us are approaching 40 if we're not already 40 and better. And it took us this long to get to this point where we can communicate and have these dialogues, you know what I'm saying, across multiple platforms and reach out and let people know that they're not alone in their own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like all of our conversations have been something worth being able to share with everybody. And it's a disservice that we're not doing this more. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of this taking place, but like the next level of reinforcement to make that other person own up to what they said they're gonna do. That's what we need to be doing right now because we done heard all the cliches. We know them by heart. You know what I'm saying? How do we turn that into capital? You know, it's intellectual capital. You know what I'm saying? So, you know. And yeah, Troy, straight up. Hey, Drew. Troy said when you turn the formation around, they walking.
Right. Yeah. I ain't never disrespect them like that. I at least kept it short before. You know what I mean?
Hey, you gonna ride it back with the shin split.
When you turn around and they walk, you like, nah.
Yeah. I can't even come get you. Yeah, especially if you walk. Man, look, I used to think that, man. Like in my period of self-discovery, you know what I'm saying, for a couple of years, I was like, yo, I got to find a way to try to get black people all on the same sheet of music that I mess with, you know what I'm saying? And you know, get my message as clear across as possible. And then I read this speech by Marcus Garvey, and I'm paraphrasing it right now. He gave it in like the 1920s, and I think it was in Harlem when he gave the speech. In the context of that speech, the principle was that he said even then that if he could take all black people back to Africa, he would. He said because there's some black people in America that wouldn't be no good in Africa either. Now he said this in the 1920s, bro. This is 60 years after Reconstruction. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying, on the front side of Jim Crow, you know, for the next 150 years, you know, after that. So this is a man that recognized that then. And so, like, why are we trying to put everybody, like, now look at all the resources that we got now. Like, if you don't know something, you're making a choice to not know something at this point. You got the whole world in your hand, man. You might be the dumbest person on earth, but you can fool somebody if you got time to go Google something and repost it.
You got 10 seconds, man.
Hey, look, man, you can make people think you can read out loud. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can repost somebody else, if you can copy and paste with your thumb, people think you are well written. You know what I'm saying? Until you got to read out loud. You know what I'm saying? Until they inbox you and they see you talking, you saying he did them good and work them. Boy, that ain't what you just said online. Why you out here lying to these folks? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's like we gotta know how to throw a bitch away, man. You know what I'm saying? Like for lack of better term, like, yo, if they're not adding value, man, we don't need them. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it. And,
it's okay to sit this one out. It's
okay. And you know what? And let me say this too. I'm not in the business of bashing people that's not on the same sheet of music. The minute that I recognize that we're not communicating the same language, I gotta let them sit to the side, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go pull it, you know what I'm saying, grab their hand and stuff, but I'm not gonna shame them either. Because, like, the other thing is that we can't criticize when people get the message, because I've seen a lot of that too. You know, like, we can't look. You've been telling somebody that they trash all this time, and they finally get the message, and then how they gonna believe that you gonna be consistent when now you said you can't even call that person a brother? You called me trash yesterday.
Like you've been tearing me down for 10 years.
Yeah, and now you finally get it. Now you a brother. Like, what was I before you? Bro, straight up, like you know what? I got on the same sheet of music just so I can hit you with this 2-piece.
Just to put you in the face.
Yeah, just
That's
to put
you. I came here.
So in the meantime, we have to say, okay, glad they got the message. They on our team, and then if not, just ignore them, bro. You know what I'm saying? Then go away like Soulja Boy music, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it don't even matter, man. It don't even matter. Arguing with them, man.
It's not. Man, look, you could choose to be promoting something that's great behind somebody that's, you know what I'm saying, that means well, that's got legacy building potential, or you can keep highlighting stuff that don't do nothing, you know what I'm saying, beyond the lips, you know what I'm saying, that it's spoken from. So what I'm saying is that, you know, we got to pick and choose who we give our airtime to. And if we give our airtime to it, we got to make sure that it's doing something to reinforce something that's already positive in our community, you know, or sets conditions for something else to grow out of it as well. So, yeah, man, that group economics thing was crazy because, like, I didn't see no outrage from the Jewish, you know, community. I'm not saying it wasn't it. I'm just saying I didn't see it at the same level, you know, and that's relative to, I don't have a whole lot of Jewish friends that have a, you know what I'm saying, Hasidic, Hasidic Jew, you know, influence or presence in my timeline. But nonetheless, that'll be something that you should still see, right? You know? Yeah, but when your dollar, when your dollar is staying in your community, you know what I'm saying, 30 to 50 times before you got to even shop with a white dude and you still got all the leverage, or anyone outside of your community, you know, then what we talking about? And then when you already in that community and you don't have to go see a bank to get no money from them, you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't.
You just get it where you get it from.
Yes.
Like, that's they grew a money tree.
Yeah. So my theory on that, in order for us to get to that point where we can create a community funding pot, we have to make sure we have businesses that turn over, you know what I'm saying, good profits. And I got to reinforce, like, for instance, if you want to start a business where you got a lawn care service, and I got 3 or 4 other partners with, you know, various businesses, all of us need to be reinforcing each other to make sure, you know what I'm saying, somebody about to turn a profit. And then the minute we get somebody to turn a profit, we need to create our own bank. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got to be a bank proper, but we got to create a pot of funding that we can go to. So when somebody says, I'm ready to start, you know what I'm saying, this next major level of development with my business and expand, and this is what I'm going to add back to the community, then the business plan looks good in-house and we get behind it. You know what I'm saying? And every 2 to 3 years, we plus up somebody else's business. But that can't happen unless we get one business off the ground and then multiple businesses right behind it. You know what I'm saying? We got to insulate ourselves financially so these impacts to our livelihood aren't, you know what I'm saying, completely predicated on somebody having an argument in a Twitter storm tantrum. So that's crazy. We're literally one tweet away from being broke. You know what I'm saying?
From being homeless, man.
Yeah, from one tweet away from being homeless.
I was telling you earlier, man, I don't know where I live anymore. I thought I lived in America. I don't know where I am.
Yo, it's like a set. Like I'm telling you, I feel like we're in that same alternate universe that was on Back to the Future 2 when Biff went back in time and got that almanac and then he got all that bread. You know what I'm saying? Like we got Biff as the president, bro.
It's a reality show and he the only one with the script.
Well put. Hey, that's it.
You don't know what happened, man.
Yeah, like you don't know how you gonna feel that day. You know, hey, it's almost like you have to follow him on Twitter just to see
figure out how your life gonna go.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Nah, I'm not doing that. Nah.
I'm not doing that.
But then,
wow.
Yo.
So you mean to tell me, just like you was talking to your brother-in-law earlier. Yeah. So you mean to tell me the people that keep the planes from crashing into each other, y'all ain't paying them? Nah, B. Say that out loud.
Yeah, that don't even make no sense. They don't even look right when you write it down. You know what I'm saying?
Who's getting on the airplane today? Not me.
Nah. Hey, it's so, yeah. Like, speaking of getting on an airplane, that's kind of hard to do these days, ain't it? With them shutting down, but at TSA.
The dude that's keeping the planes from crashing into each other is thinking about his house payment. I'm not flying anyway. What are you saying?
Yeah. Hey, what about the TSA folks, though?
Man, I told you that one in Miami shut down Terminal G. They just all did it.
Bruh.
Like, somebody should get them because they need a GoFundMe account. Hey. Why don't they have GoFundMe accounts?
Yeah. Yo, they had a GoFundMe account for the wall that reached $20 million.
So we can't get $500K for the people ain't getting paid.
Yo, we can't do a GoFundMe for the government employees.
Come on, man.
But wait, hold up. The government employees that didn't vote for Trump. You know what I'm saying?
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Like, they need to create a form, an exemption, or I guess a contribution, whatever language you want to use. Basically, a deduction on everybody's W-4 when they sign. You know what I'm saying, with their new job and all that good stuff. Do you want to donate to the wall, or they need to make one on a W-2 too? You know what I'm saying? Also. So when they file taxes, and like, do you want to make a contribution to building a wall and then get it from there? Let the people that want to build a wall contribute to that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
And we should know. It should be on your driver's license like you're a sex offender. 100%.
Hey,
I should know.
Hey, I should know who helped build a wall. Like
I should know, man. I should know.
Oh man, that boy said like a sex offender. Yeah, hey.
Who contributed to?
I wish I had the little keyboard signs. I just start firing shots right now. You know how they be doing, you know what I'm saying, in that Jamaican sound. I'm a simulator. Right. Hey, y'all make the shots noise right now in your head. Man. You know what I'm saying? We going without right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should absolutely be a GoFundMe for, you know, like people that didn't vote for
Come on, man.
Yeah.
That wall was up in the millions.
20 million since December 18th, bro. That was like less than a month. And then they shut it down.
I got another question.
What's up?
All these states, that's federal governments, right? These employees not working.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are we doing with the lottery money in these states?
That's a good question right there, bro.
Because I know we getting plenty of that.
Where that lottery money at?
Like, can we throw some of that in?
Bruh, you know, that's a really good point. But that But to the FundMe though, to the GoFundMe, that lets you know who we living with. You know what I'm saying? Like if you thought America was about diversity, like that's not a choice thing. That's just like social morality pushing, you know what I'm saying, what's acceptable and what's not. This was a formality. You know what I'm saying? The people that run this country, if you're black and you think that this country is, you know what I'm saying, geared towards supporting you, you know what I'm saying, in your lowest points, it's not built like that. It's made to make money off of you still, you know. And there's some people that think that they don't fit into that, and that's their business. But, you know, once they get in a disadvantaged position, they'll find out who got their back. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, we just need the community of reasonable people to understand that we are each other's support system. You know what I'm saying? Okay, my boy Sherm said the lottery isn't federal, that's state. Well, you know, that makes sense too, because like some states do and do not have a lottery, and it's supposed to go towards education. You know, is that true for every state that has a lottery, or
it's supposed to go towards education?
Yeah, I've heard that before too. I don't know how I missed that, because that makes sense, because some places got the lottery and some got gambling. You can't have both.
Boy, we need a lottery.
Hey man, you in I don't know what part of Alabama is the armpit though. You know what I'm saying, and which armpit it is. But you know what I'm saying, in terms of like geography within the state, Montgomery ain't it, bro. You know, we know. You know what I'm saying, like poverty is running crazy everywhere, but like you got a greater chance at getting shot. You know what I'm saying, day by day. You know, depending on where you live.
100%,
bro. And then, you know, it's not getting better. I don't see it getting better. I don't know what's gonna change. But this dude has found a way to hold the entire United States and the world and his employees hostage. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy is he still has a lot of the same support, you know what I'm saying, from the people that I've interacted with.
That's them though, dog.
Yeah,
that's
I don't.
These are the same people that died sinking on the Titanic, man. They ain't never coming off that.
Yeah,
it don't matter what he do, they not coming off of it.
Because that's what I'm saying. That's the danger of people's pride to some degree. Like if black people's pride was a weapon, you know what I'm saying, it'll be the little pea shoot on Harlem Nights. You know what I'm saying? When they said put that little motherfucker up, that's us. That's our pride. Like our pride don't do nothing to anybody else but us. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But the pride, you know what I'm saying, coming from the chopper, you know what I'm saying, they got that joint. You know what I'm saying? And they'll cut their nose off to spite their face, you know? So that's just the reality of it. That's the way I look at it, man. Like everybody's pride has danger, but I mean, it has impacts, but specific impacts is more relative to us. You know what I'm saying? Their specifics impact everybody.
And when I watch all the credit he get for when the shutdown over.
Yeah.
Why somehow he gonna get credit for putting out his own fire?
Yeah, like you don't get credit for putting out fires you started, man. But somehow he gonna find a way to parlay that thing, you know? That's what he do. So I'm gonna move on to topic 3, I'm sorry. Which is using group discussions to develop agendas and strategic goals within your circle of influence. This comment was posted in the one of my solicitation threads, and just to notify everybody that was gonna go live, right? And the use of group discussions is what we have right now, because we can influence that. We can influence each other. You see what I'm saying? Like I can't control what you do, but if we have a certain type of conversation that's on a certain level, you can't say that you didn't know, you know? And it can't just be a discussion. It has to be a dialogue too. I think dialogue is the implied, you know what I'm saying, word that encompasses all of it. But a lot of people don't use that word in the right context, or if they use it at all. So, you know, in that regard, these conversations that we're having right now, that you and I are talking back and forth, you know, this is real organic. This is normal for us. you know. And like if you was right here, it wouldn't be nothing else. It'd probably be, you know what I'm saying, you might have a small tree or something like that, but maybe or maybe not. Who knows? But
100%.
but the dialogue wouldn't change. You know what I'm saying? We've been on the same thing for a minute. We've both been around the world and back. Both of us have served. You know what I'm saying? And did what we did to take care of our families at the time. And so our perspective is a little bit different than some people that probably are less traveled, you know what I'm saying, or have less ambitions to travel. But when you know better, you do better. So there comes a level of responsibility in being able to share, you know what I'm saying, those experiences. And I've always said this, man, your experiences don't mean nothing if they're not shared. If don't nobody get an indication that it's life outside of what they see and what they interact with every day, then it doesn't create, you know what I'm saying, a dialogue. It doesn't create discussion on how I can get better, you know what I'm saying? And it's cool when you got somebody that you can emulate, and that's what you're looking for, you know? Ain't nothing wrong with that at all, you know? And we got to get out of our comfort zone in terms of waiting for someone to come deliver us, you know what I'm saying, to some degree. You know, and it can't be no entertainer, it can't be no athlete, man. We can't do nothing but use these discussions to, you know what I'm saying, as our vehicle to get to the next spot, man. You know, we got an intellectual Uber right now, you know what I'm saying, that we don't have to pay for. And we're in a period of time where we don't just have to be mad and angry without a way to explain it. You know what I'm saying? We could just choose not to interact with certain people, and because there's plenty of people out there that we could reach out and touch that's on the same wavelength, you know?
Right.
So what are you doing where you located to try to drive that same thing? You know what I'm saying, with your discussions?
Just trying to have more of them with different people, man, because there's a lot of people that just don't even understand like what you're talking about. Like, so they just hear stuff like be black or buy black and buy the block. Like they might not understand just what that means. That's just some hashtag they see on Instagram or something.
Right. You know,
so it's just like bringing more people, man, and then just talking to family members about it. That's the most important part, man, because they right next to you.
Yeah. I think if you can't get it right in your own household, you know what I'm saying, you can't really take it nowhere. But we got to have some limitations on that too, man, because sometimes we talked about this before too. Ain't nothing special about you being family. You didn't have to do nothing. Like what kind of training camp you went to become family? You know what I'm saying? Your mom and daddy humped and they pumped you out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Every family got a loser in it. Every family got somebody that steals. Everybody got somebody in the family that won't stop being pregnant. Everybody got somebody that won't leave dope alone or pop pills or whatever they might do. You know what I'm saying? They into something. One of them got you know, you always got that one family member that's a black sheep. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, good or bad. And so ain't nothing special about that. What changes that dynamic? You know what I'm saying? There ain't no special power. You know, ain't no new training for that. Right. So we can't just automatically relegate to, you know, to family to say that if we can't get something right from within our family, we can't give up on it. You know what I'm saying? We got to go out and create families, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got multiple families out there and they all have, you know what I'm saying, a specific niche and box in my life. And, I'm the central piece of that because I get to choose how I interact with them. You know, like the family you're born with, you can't choose them. You can choose how you deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they detract from you. You know, you just got to know how far you can go with that. And then I'm not in the business of giving information to people who don't have their hands raised no more. Like if your hand ain't up and I'm just talking to you, how much of the information are you really processing? You know what I'm saying? Like you just sit there with the blank look on your face, like, you know, and then 10 minutes later, you go say, hey man, that whole last hour, what did you say? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like what yeah, I can't waste no time with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, I could have been out trying to learn something from somebody else or trying to teach somebody something else that's been dying to get in contact with me or get me to call them back or return a text or whatever it might be. So we just got to know that the discussion is critical, but it's also more critical where we have discussion and who we have it with.
Exactly, man. That's
Sherm said every family got that one shooter that's busting shots. Yes, that is true. So true. busting shots. Hey, the credit card scammers, all of them motherfuckers, man. We got all of that around here, you know. Yo, somebody that's taking pictures in all white, like that's something locked up again. Like, yeah. Yo, that's real. Hey man, why you laughing so hard? Well, why you laughing so hard?
Because that's all facts, man. That's crazy.
Straight facts, man. You know
that's
what I'm saying?
crazy.
You know, so like we got every family got some ski man shoulders, man. You know what I'm saying? So you can choose. Yeah. You can choose to try to talk to them, or you can go back and talk to that young boy that's out there. You know what I'm saying? That's lost. You can go out there and try to school. You know what I'm saying? The young black lady that's on her path. You know what I'm saying? And try to give her some information that she can use to protect herself with. Not necessarily you protect her. But we have to arm each other. We should feel empowered when we talk to each other. We should feel like my time isn't gonna be wasted. It's gonna be useful. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I was on a post earlier, and then this one person just busts out and say like the most erroneous bullshit that I ever seen. Well, I ain't gonna say ever seen because I've seen more than my fair share. But the most erroneous shit I've seen since 2019. How about that? Okay, it's young. And the logic, well, the post itself was like, you know, I don't remember the original post because the comments became that engulfing. But like I usually give myself about a 5 to 7 comment threshold. Like you're not gonna earn 10 out of me. And then a C. So I give you seven because by times 10, that's a C. So I give you a C for holding my attention. But after that, I'm usually out. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said. I wrote a book. You want to hear my opinion? You know what I'm saying? Go buy the. Matter of fact, y'all go ahead and click that caption and then check that link out. You know what I'm saying? That's a link to my book. Go ahead and buy 2 copies. Get you one for yourself and one for somebody else. And if you don't need one for yourself, buy 2 anyway and give it to somebody else. So, and if they, especially give it to the people who got to read with their finger on the paper. You know, that's fine too. But in his discussion on the comments, the lady that was commenting said the government elected, you know what I'm saying, Trump. The original post was asking, you know what I'm saying, white people are Trump supporters, same thing. Who is responsible for the shutdown, you know what I'm saying, in so many words. And then they got on there and said, well, the government elected Trump. And I'm like, the government doesn't just do stuff without anybody else, you know what I'm saying, having some kind of social, having political equity in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to initiate the, the wheel to turn. Yeah, it's a dog and pony show with all the campaigns and everything. I get that. But somebody got to jump in there and actually put their hand in the pot and say, that's my guy. Right or wrong?
Right.
You can't win unless you're in, right?
Right.
So the government doesn't just put people in there. Now, are there elements within the government that shape outcomes? Absolutely. I'm not denying that. And, and for those people that may or may not agree, you can go back and just look at the 60s. You know what I'm saying? They killed JFK. They killed Martin Luther King. They killed Robert F. Kennedy. And these aren't conspiracies. You know what I'm saying? These are validated facts that you can just go look at on any.gov site, sponsored by the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, and, you know what I'm saying, some of the children, some of the parents of the children politicians that we have now. So we're not saying that the government doesn't, you know what I'm saying, elements within the government or factions within the government does not conspire to exact an agenda. We're not saying that doesn't occur. What we're just saying is that you look stupid when you just say the government did that. You got to be able to quantify it. You know what I'm saying? Because going forward, we got too many tools just to sound like idiots. You know what I'm saying? For no reason. We sound like Alex Jones on some things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounded cool, but you could be too woke. You could be too woke. Like, it ain't no reason to be so full of, YouTube video clips in your brain, and now you start talking and you sound like Bumblebee. You know how Bumblebee talk through the radio with different clips? That's why I be hearing folks when they be talking about, man, the government did this, the man did that. You know what I'm saying? It's just a plot to exterminate us, blah, blah. all of that might be true, but it don't sound like that when it come out of your mouth. That's why.
Make you want to tell me, shut your militant ass up.
Yeah, sometimes you want to kill the messenger.
Your message is trash.
Yeah, your message is trash. You know what I'm saying? Like you out here reinforcing stupid people, and you don't even recognize. You too dumb to recognize that you reinforcing dumb people.
Right, them be the one be ready to jump off a bridge, man.
Man, hey, Marcus, absolutely. Conspiracy theories without substantial evidence. Right. We're not saying conspiracy theories do not exist. We're just saying that there's some conspiracy theories that have been validated with facts. If you can't validate the facts, if you can't post a credible link, and I ain't talking about hustlers, I'm not talking about World News Daily Report, all that fake shit that be in my timeline sometimes, you know what I'm saying, that I see reposted, you know, about some lady tried to rape an alligator and got ate. Now, that is the state of Florida, so that's not far-fetched. But I don't know how you're going to get some meat from an alligator, no way. But that's not a seasoned issue either. So, like, yeah, hey, look, white people are the only folks that got to wake up with the possibility of being eaten. They got to find out how to navigate that shit. We just got to figure out not to get shot on the way to work. You know what I'm saying? So, my point is, it's like, stop introducing these extra narratives, you know what I'm saying, without sources and getting people to take them as fact. And we shouldn't be in the business of trying to prove ourselves to folks that don't endure our own experiences. But you should not be out here diluting our experiences with bad information. You know what I'm saying? Like you out here operating on conjecture, you know what I'm saying, and theory, and probably a conversation that you've been having while you was high, you know. And that's just reality of it. Because hey man, most people done solved all kind of crimes and everything, and maybe invented a cure for some kind of disease or something between taking a shower, smoking, you know what I'm saying, or taking a good dump. But that social media is not the place to do that. Not to write it down. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're dead at some point, and people pull up your comments or your interest on social media. Now you're just like an idiot. You know, like that's your legacy at that point. And it's not.
That's your legacy, right?
That's your legacy. Yo, like, you remember a few years ago when people say, oh, man, it's just Facebook. I don't really be caring. And I'm like, all right. Yeah. But you wrote something down, you know what I'm saying, regardless of how good of a person you were. If you didn't find a way to get that captured in, you know what I'm saying, in enough entries on social media to, you know, to give an indication that you were a decent person, you're going to be the worst scum of the earth. You know what I'm saying? And you might just had a moment where you wanted to troll. So you got to have some balance, you know what I'm saying, about the stuff that you do. So that's why these videos and these dialogues are important too, man, because like, hey, I post funny stuff all day. I might post some thought-provoking stuff too. I might mix that in. So, you know what I'm saying, you might go from mad at me, you know what I'm saying, to I'm blocking him, to haha, you know, all in an hour, you know what I'm saying?
It's a roller coaster of emotion.
It's a roller coaster, but that's really how my brain functions, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, in between the serious moments, I need a moment of levity, and I get that from, you know what I'm saying, like reposting funny stuff, having, you know what I'm saying, good side conversations and stuff like that. But we got these tools to try to mitigate that, man. And you know, I'm right now too, I'm in the exploration phase, you know what I'm saying, of developing my next book. And I had some really, really good discussions today about, you know, like, you know, how we respond to, you know, things like, did your father ever tell you he loved you? What's up with the toxic relationships between mothers and daughters, you know, and, you know, and how do toxic relationships between mother and son impact, you know what I'm saying, your romantic relationship as a man and or a woman, you know, because they on the receiving end of it too. They're not exempt, you know what I'm saying? Stuff happens to them as well, you know? So, like, I think I'd have to dedicate a whole book to that, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel like I'm working towards today. Yep. Hey, Mark, yeah, absolutely. I don't think you can say intellectually and lazy in the same sentence. I don't think they qualify for intellectually as an adjective. Just put lazy on that thing, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't qualified for that yet, you know? Like, you just sorry, you know? You want somebody to give you the answer. So, Man, so like, let's see what else we got on here, man. I think we kind of, hey man, the discussion is important. That's just the bottom line. And within the discussion, it's important to weed out what's BS and what's not. It's important to not shame. It's important to make it known that you don't represent me with some BS. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna go out here and arm somebody that's gonna say, well, what about Kanye? You know, and
shut up.
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna go out here and arm that person. You know what I'm saying? So now I got to go defend my intellectual capacity behind somebody that's using Kanye's bullshit to defend Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna do that. You know. So I got to stop that where it starts. That's part of the reason why I'm so direct, and that's important, man. So the next topic though, check this out, bro. You ready? You already read the problem. Understanding why black people think white people have a monopoly on molesting children and/or trafficking people for sex.
And that's a book right
there. Hey, why do we think that when black folks get called out for engaging in, nefarious activities involving minors, raping women, sexual deviant shit, why do we think that is a tool to target black people? Are they trying to destroy the black man? Why? How? Like, why do you think that?
Like, what part of the plan did that come in at, though? What part of the plan did they say, hey, this is the part where you go and sexually assault some chick?
That's how we're going to get them.
That's how we're going to do it. Like, come on, man. And we mostly do it for people we like, because we just want to make an excuse to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got on this whole thing because of homeboy. I don't even want to say dude's name.
Yeah.
But because of homeboy, everybody just want an excuse to still listen to stuff.
I think that's one level of it. I think there's some people out there that's a part.
The other part is that's just a classic comeback.
Yeah, that's the first comeback, right? That's
whenever we do something, but y'all ain't talking about homeboy, he been doing it. You know what I'm saying? But the bigger part of it is when you say that, you missing the part about the people that it's happening to.
Yeah. And that's coming, hey, look, folks, that's coming from a man that's got daughters. That's coming from a man that has, a soon-to-be wife at some point. I ain't gonna just put that on you, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Y'all invested. So I'm throwing it out there. But you have to look at it different. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody, what do women have to gain by saying, that somebody's sexually harassing them? Like, how do we benefit by discrediting what black women say? When they're the target or something? That's what I never understand.
Nobody wants that kind of attention, man.
Like, who want that attention? Right. Bruh. Like, I don't understand what people are trying to preserve. You know what I'm saying? When they say, when people use phrases like we just talked about, they try to destroy the image of the black man by bringing, by black people bringing R. Kelly to, or any other sexual deviant to task about the things he's done, And yeah, highlighting white people, I get that, but like, let's go ahead and set some metrics right here. I don't care what white people do. How about that? Now that we eliminate that part. Yeah.
Why y'all talking about them women?
Yeah. Like, let's go ahead and say that part. Let's not care. Let's just eliminate in this conversation and going forward, in community discussion, let's eliminate the need to try to validate what goes on in our community against what standards white people might have. Because subconsciously, a lot of people do that. They don't even recognize it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you start saying stuff like, but white people have been doing it too. Like, they've been doing a whole lot of shit that don't add up. You know what I'm saying? That we've been.
That's a cop-out.
That's a cop-out.
You don't want to deal with what's going on.
You are a result of the shit that white people do. Think about that. Your ancestors were brought here based on the shit that white people do.
That white people do.
Do you know how stupid? Yeah, so you know.
They
So that's why you sound stupid when you say, but white people do it too, or been doing it. I don't give a fuck about them protecting their priests. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Because they don't give a fuck about their own children being molested. So why do we have to make room to understand and consider that? I don't understand it. Like, you remember when you would get in trouble and, or Chris would get in trouble. I'm gonna go ahead, hey Cap, I gotta put you out there. You know, he
was watching a few minutes ago. He said he good.
Hey,
one of his classics.
Yeah. Hey, he go out there, he get in trouble, but he said, but Andrew said it was this and he did that. What the fuck did Andrew got to do with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got caught, right?
Right.
You take that time. That's your brick.
You gotta wear that.
You gotta wear it. You sewed the suit up and then you put it in the closet. When they pulled it out, you gotta put it on.
Yeah, because it's not my size.
It's not my size. And then, and really, you know how you can avoid all this? Don't be a predator. Just don't be a predator.
How about, let's do that. Let's just not.
I don't, and look, I don't care.
16-year-old.
Bro, I'm
not put up at the high school.
I don't care about the fast girls. I don't care what they did when they was jumping in. Hey, Walt, if you listen, I saw you just call. I'm gonna hit you back in a little bit, and I'm gonna get him to talk. You know what I'm saying? But I don't care about the fast girls that jumped in the cars in high school. I don't care about that. That ain't even comparable. Them, what was any of them folks R. Kelly?
No.
Okay.
I don't think.
We talk because we talking about R. Kelly right now.
Right.
You know, matter of fact, I'm finna call Walt on three-way. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he got something fire to say right now too. You know, so. But yeah, man, like we got to stop trying to assign, you know what I'm saying, equity to people that don't care about us. And the only way that we can do that, hey Drew, I know you can still hear me, man. I'm just calling Walt right now. Hey Walt.
Brother.
Hey, hang on, man. I'm about to merge you back on with my cousin, all right?
Okay.
All right. Hey Drew, Walt.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hey.
How you doing? What's up?
Hey, Walt, one of my guys, man. Like that's my fam from Fort Stewart, man. We served together. You know, we've been A1 since day one. And you know, I appreciate, man, like me and Walt pick up the phone and hey Drew, I talk to Walt like I talk to you. You know what I'm saying? We talk every day, but when I talk to Walt, it's like a 2-hour chat. I make sure I stop everything I'm doing and I cut the rest of the day. I'll chop it up with him, man, because we be going through it, man. We be chopping up on a whole lot of different topics and perspectives and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
A big gumbo pile full of it.
Yeah, all of it, man. So I know when he was calling, man, I ain't wanted to see you right before. I said I got to get that man on three-way, man. You know what I'm saying? To get him out here so he can talk. So, but like I was at the spot right when before I called you in, and because like a lot of people using this weak ass narrative saying like, but you used to jump in the car with the dope boys when you was 15, 16. Right. But it's
deflection.
It's pure deflection. It doesn't add any value. It doesn't add any value. Yeah. And look, man, I got a philosophy about relationships, and it's always been like, if I take care of my mate, and my mate take care of me, and if my focus is on her and her focus is on me, why wouldn't we work, right? So, in regards to like women that aren't our mates, we still owe them protection. You see what I'm saying? Like, and protection don't mean that we got to go hold their hands or nothing like that. What it means is that they should feel protected around us. They should feel like if somebody comes in and threatens their safety, you know what I'm saying, they shouldn't have that concern. And on the other side of it is that somebody that would be willing to do harm to them should feel like, I can't even do it. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll cast around. So it should be a deterrent in so many different ways. And then, so the reciprocal part of that is that people stop trying, you know what I'm saying, dumb shit. And then on the other side, with the women, they stop putting themselves in disadvantaged positions. So nobody's ever said that. Nobody's denying the fact that some women do put themselves in disadvantaged positions. You know what I'm saying? So what you want to add to that part, man?
just on that part alone, we definitely need to protect. And protection, that's a word that stretches, because like you said, it's not only physically, mentally.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let nobody call your mama a bitch.
No.
Don't let nobody call your sister a bitch. You're not going to let nobody call your mama a bitch. So don't let you standing there and a brother's disrespecting a woman. Now, I'm not saying jump in their head first, and because I learned years ago, you know, I was down in Savannah, matter of fact, and this couple were fighting.
Oh.
And I was with this chick, and me, Mr. Superhero, finna jump out the car, because, you know, I seen him tagging her. She grabbed my arm, like, hey, what you doing? I said, I'm finna go break this up. She like, get your ass in this car. So I'm standing there like, nah, man, fuck that. Not even timid. They get through fighting. Nobody called police. Next thing you know, they're riding off together. Like nothing happened. So, and then mama understood what she was saying. Like, you jump in there, you fuck around, get shot. You fuck around, get beat up. And then, you know, they still together.
You got to use discretion. I'm not saying that.
Right. Right. And that's just that scenario. I'm not saying
that's not across the board. Like, you're going to get.
Right.
That's like that one that you might see like that. You know what I'm saying? Out of the few that you even see.
Right. Even with me personally, dealing with that kind of stuff. Yeah. Just going along with what you said, you know, don't put yourself in that position. Like when women get up in your face, like, don't get in my face yelling at me, telling me, you know, hit me. Like, stop. I can put you through this wall, literally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. So sit down, let's talk about this. And it's mostly black women that I've dealt with on that level.
Well, I'll say this though.
Like,
well, I think the black women part of that is the fact that, number one, we're black. We're gonna date more black women. Well, not me. Like long time ago. I got a wife.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Turning your car.
Jersey in the rack. What I'm saying is that based on it don't have to be specific about just black women. We got to figure out how, as a culture of men that are black, be able to communicate. You know what I'm saying? To create, you know what I'm saying, paths of reasonable discussion versus the rah-rah, you know what I'm saying, versus the razzle.
Are we taught that?
Huh?
Are we taught that? I don't remember. I don't.
Well, that's the thing, though. See, I don't care if we were taught it or not. We got the resources to do it.
I'm just like asking the question in general. Like, I know that part, but it's like
culturally.
I don't remember my pop. Yeah, I don't remember like sitting down with the fellas and they're like,
I agree with you.
Do it like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think culturally we just now getting to the point where we can have that discussion internally. We can fix our own problems.
Yep.
But we gotta.
And we got more brothers like us that will powwow with each other. Like, look, man.
Yeah.
You know, because you have to get to a point. Because I do remember there was a point where I would not talk about my relationship. If there was something I didn't know, if there was something I was going through, it wasn't that I didn't feel comfortable or close to my homeboys. It was just, I didn't think they, you know, like, nigga, niggas shut the fuck up. Like, I got 99 problems and a bitch ain't one. You know, I might get hit with that. So I don't want to be the guy that's coming like that, you know?
Well, I think that, number one, everybody ain't qualified to listen to your issues. So you got to use discretion, you know what I'm saying, about who you discuss
I like that. You just struck a landmine, bro. No bullshit. Just what you just said, everybody's not qualified to listen. It's either say somebody's not qualified to advise you. You know, that shit is everywhere. Yeah. But there are actually some people not qualified to listen also.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, you want to add something to that? Drew.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, man, that's 100%, because most likely the person that's listening to you going to advise you, right?
Supposed to. You'd hope so.
Hopefully. Right. So that's kind of like they're going to have some type of input or some type of experience in that same situation. So, yeah, you just got to be careful with who who you get that type of information to, man, because that's all we got that we can control. It's our information. So you got to hold our top secret.
Yeah, you straight. I mean, look, we just not getting to the point where we can introduce these conversations as reasonable building blocks to get us to the next step. Because like we just trying to be better men. You know what I'm saying? And part of being better men is being reinforced by, you know what I'm saying, by good guys that surround you, right? So we got to do the dirty work, and that's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things
that... be honest, too, dude.
Yeah, we got to be honest, man. Yo, we done had some pretty honest conversations, Walt, you know, and you know, like, I don't like force introducing topics or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, because I like following the flow. But, like, we got to get back to checking each other.
Yep.
Or just start checking each other. Like, the shit that we were checking each other about before, maybe wasn't as important as what we can check each other on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't mess with you, man, if you out here mishandling women. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, at this point in my life, I got all the friends I need. I don't need no new friends. I need business partners I can make money with. You know what I'm saying? At this point. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, a lot of people got a lot of broke day ones. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
They cool with being with them broke day ones and saying they ain't never changed on them. Your pockets ain't never changed either. And then when I say that,
right.
And when
speak on that shit.
Because what I'm saying is that it's not about the bag, man. It's about the comfort of life. You know what I'm saying? Because when you change your comfort, you change the way you see something. Your views change. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And if they change the right way, you'll see that. Hold up, what the?
Bro,
this shit ain't for me.
Right, bro. It's so many indications that I can see by how a man handled it. You know what I'm saying? Like, by how he treated women. You know, like, and it's not the Casanova part of me. It's not the hopeless romantic that's looking at it. It's the business side of me. Because where I see things is that if a man is sloppy with his women, he's sloppy with his money. And if he's sloppy with his money, he's sloppy with his women. Show me a happy chick with a broke dude in a relationship. Like, morally bankrupt too, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to find that. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to find some super happy woman in an abusive relationship, you know what I'm saying, both physically, mentally, or whatever. So if he's sloppy with her, it's a lot of other things he's bankrupt on. So,
and that speaks on inadequacies also.
Yep.
He's inadequate in some kind of way, or in multiple ways, in order for him to treat that woman
correct
in that manner. You
know, I don't know what kind of low point you have to be at in order to put hands on another chick. You know what I'm saying? Or to argue with a chick, or to be a constant debate with it. I mean, it's unattractive. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like I told Drew this the other day. I said, man, we gotta expand who qualifies to be a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, dudes can be bitches too. Sometimes dudes can be bigger bitches than the chicks.
These days.
Like, you got all the leverage in terms of setting the tone for your relationship. You know what I'm saying? You got plenty of leeway to lead. You know what I'm saying? You already in the front. You know what I'm saying? Like, most people that I know that are in a relationship, they are comfortable with, you know what I'm saying, the man exacting the role, like, whether it be traditional or whatever, you know what I'm saying, however that relationship works. If that person is qualified, or, you know what I'm saying, has exhibited that behavior that says we're going to go further together and I'm going to be in charge, you know what I'm saying, based on my actions. And sometimes being in charge don't mean you got to make a decision. Sometimes the decision you make is that, yo, I need you to take care of this. I need you to be in the lead on this, and I'll support you.
Exactly.
So we lose a lot of context on these things sometimes that we're missing steps that can make us awesome. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you're just good enough. And generally speaking, most people are good people. So being good ain't good enough. We're trying to be exceptional.
And you got to pay attention to a lot of cats that I know that are in that category of just lacking. They just don't give a shit to learn anything other than. They cool with that shit. They like that. My girl got, first thing come out their mouth, my girl got a good job. I'm not impressed by this shit.
Man,
what you got going on?
What you doing? Hey, Drew, what you got to add to that, Drew?
Hey, that's hard, man. That's funny y'all should mention that, man, because I was at work the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go outside, walk to my car, man. This chick is two girls. They walk by me. They're like, yo, one girl's like, hey, you need a haircut. And she was right. I could have used a touch-up. She was right.
To you? She said that to you, Drew?
Yeah, just out of the blue, bro. Don't know me from nowhere. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? I peeked that in the mirror this morning. It's Wednesday.
It made you look self-conscious. Yeah.
But she ain't have to bring that up.
Yeah. It made you tan yourself conscious.
All right. I might have to swing by after work. A little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the other girl, that's why I was like, I asked her, I said, you must go cut it for me, right? So the other girl was like, that's what your girl for. I was like, well, my girl at a barber. Mm-hmm. She was like, but she should pay for it. I said, you pay for your boyfriend's to get his haircut? She said, yeah, I pay for his haircut.
What?
I said, he let you walk around with your hair looking like that?
Oh, man. Hey, simulate the shots. And the Jamaican the dance hall. What a dance hall on it.
Just walked away. They said, conversation over. That's it. But the plan for the haircut part blew my mind.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine my wife walking up to me while I'm in the barber chair and like, yeah. You know how like when the
man.
Yeah.
Like in the barber chair while you
Bro, she gotta pick your haircut.
Alcohol on your neck.
Bro, she gotta pick your haircut. If she gotta pay for your haircut, she get to pick your haircut.
No, that's what I'm saying. You just made it straight to him, like she your mom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what you do. Exactly. I'm gonna tell you a scenario a couple months ago. I went out with this chick. I really liked her. I always liked her. Just voluptuous and just this woman is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But her attitude, her spirit stinks.
Okay.
So I eat at this Italian restaurant. But I always see something else in people. I had other plans for her. I was gonna date because I hadn't smashed it yet. So there's still that window of using her as a business partner. Versus, if this don't go well, then we still can do the other thing because I ain't touched it yet in that matter.
All right. Hey,
which
slide
is
with your
rare for me.
Slide with your busy. Hey, absolutely.
Right. I stopped myself, but I went out on a date with her. We went to lunch. And soon we walked in, babe. This is what she did. How many? She said 2. I looked at her like, what the fuck? So when we sat down, I said, hey, don't you ever do that again. She didn't know what I meant by that. She didn't understand why I was upset with her. That's not your place. I will never let you do that. Because if this were to go further, then, and I could be, you call me a Neanderthal. I'm just old school like that. Like, I don't allow that kind of stuff. Because she just.
I don't think that's just it though. I don't think that's just it though. Like you trying to capture it, you know what I'm saying, over a live video, and that's not just it. There was other things. That was just like an indicator that you saw, that you logged in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I had this chick one time I was dating, and she would come over and she would leave every day. Every time she spent the night, there would be a brush in the morning. Then curling iron, then like some drawers. Mm-hmm. So
marketing.
I threw it away.
Okay.
I threw it away because I knew what she was doing. She was slowly moving in. She was slowly making like her nest. I knew what she was doing.
Man, are you calling her a bird? Are you calling her a bird?
No.
You just said she was making a bird.
Yes, the verb behavior. I mean, it might be accurate, but I knew what she was doing.
She was making a bird box.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. I didn't get it from like one of my friends, or I got it from a comedian. Said somebody tried to do him like that, and so when he started seeing it, he realized that he just threw it all away.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, I got that idea from him, and it worked.
Boy, hey man, see, look, this is why you just can't talk about for too long, man. You got 2 minutes too long, man. Yo, he got chicks building nests. You know what I'm saying? Flying twigs and shit in. You know what I'm saying? Little mud nests. Like, was she a sparrow?
She was like an eagle, tall as she was like, and I'm not even trying to tell what she was just kind of sexy, and I dug her accent, but the things that we do
goddamn
with women, like you say, you sloppy with your women, you sloppy with your money, you're essentially sloppy with your life.
Yeah, that's
everything.
True.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
That analogy you give, it makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds really shallow. It sounds shallow when it's by itself. But once you see it, and you in the middle of it, and you know what I'm saying, you are the chaos. You the center of it. You ain't got nobody to blame, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to go ahead and own that. So like, yeah.
Bruh, when I say I self-check so much, that's why I don't take no shit from nobody, because I self-check so much. I understand.
We too old to be taking shit. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In general, we just too old to be taking shit. Like we ain't got to fight about it.
Right.
It's just
now,
that
there was a point I did self-check too much, and it it turned into
it stalled you out.
Self-loathing.
Right.
Yeah, it turned into self-loathing at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then you project that shit on the other people, and then they like, I don't want to be around this motherfucker. He's fucking depressing.
Yeah.
You know, everything you talk about is it's some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah, you're that toxic person that everybody's saying.
Or not necessarily toxic until you start impacting other people. That's where it's at. Like you just alone in your thoughts until you get to that point where you like, man, nah, I can't come around there. Like, who all over there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there you go.
Who all over there?
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. They say your name and they not coming.
All right.
I'm like, nah. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to another topic, man. Hey, Javon, I appreciate you giving me that to speak on. You know what I'm saying? And look, we got to go ahead and say it like this: we don't need no predators. There's just no room for predators, man. You know what I'm saying? What we gonna do with a predator? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then ask yourself this question: what do we lose by throwing R. Kelly away? And any other predator.
Exactly.
What do we lose?
Exactly.
I mean,
does Jeffrey Dahmer represent the white race?
Right. We the only group of people that have to own our crime, drug usage, and everything else, right?
No,
but
I don't.
Yeah, I don't. You know what I'm saying? But but like when black people get a challenge, like, well, what are you guys gonna do about crack? And I'm like, well, what y'all gonna do about meth in the trailer parks? It's a valid question, right?
What I'm gonna do about crack is not smoking.
That's what I'm gonna not do. You know,
bring up shootings in schools. Well, what about OJ?
Yeah, straight up. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, we don't need anything that misrepresents us, and I think that's the overall point of what Javon, you know what I'm saying, was giving me the nugget on. You know what I'm saying?
They bring up OJ with school shoes. I heard it before.
Bruh, anything, man. But hey,
there's only one OJ.
Hey, man, y'all come out y'all come out the rabbit hole.
One,
y'all come out the rabbit hole.
There's only one OJ. It's been 1,000 school shootings.
Hey, bro, y'all come out the rabbit hole, man. Y'all about to upset y'all.
Come out the rabbit. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay,
all right.
So R. Kelly, I don't like it. There's no way I could justify it. And I've had conversations with people as much as I could tolerate anyway, trying to get some kind of insight with them.
It's difficult, right?
You know, it's very difficult because it's like you're trying to make me sympathize for a guy. I have a daughter.
Hey, Walt, let me stop you right there. Hey, and if y'all listen to this, we already threw the parents away of these kids, okay? We already threw them. So don't say like, well, what about the parents? We know that they trash too. But but R. Kelly still don't have to be a predator. Yeah, R. Kelly still don't have to be a predator, even though the parents trash. Okay? Can we agree on that? Okay, cool.
So, R. Kelly doesn't have to be a predator. No. I mean, you're right.
The parents are trash.
Right. The parents, they exist on their own plane.
Correct.
Whereas R. Kelly got this going on, you know, but you guys let your kids go. What the?
Yeah. Hey man, look. I know.
And R. Kelly knew who to target.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, this and
definition predator means.
Hey, look. Hey, hold on, and let me go ahead and quantify that for everybody that's listening. So there's always been an ongoing dialogue about black women being the least protected woman in the world, and I agree with that. Because and the reason I have to agree with it is because a black woman said it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't live the life of a black woman. I don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, like being judged by being the angry black woman or something like that. So I'm gonna take what they say face value and say that they've experienced certain metrics that led them to that assessment, right? So with that being said, like I saw a lot of people trying to equate R. Kelly to Hugh Hefner. First and foremost, you can't. Okay. Yeah, straight up, yeah. Like it's similar but not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it goes back to this: why do we care what white people do to white people? You know what I'm saying? They don't care about what black people do to black people. You know. So the other thing is too, R. Kelly targeted a certain demographic of black girl. You know, and I use the word girl, okay? And when you know that you operating with the you know what I'm saying, with the target of the least protected, then you know you're gonna win anyway. Do y'all remember about 4 years ago, this cop in Oklahoma City got locked up for like 300 some odd years, and he had raped like 12 to 17 black women, and his logic was that he wasn't gonna get caught because nobody checks up on black women. Do y'all remember that?
Nobody checked.
It was an Asian. Yeah, straight up. And this was a cop that was doing this, bro. It was an Asian dude, and but think about that. That's what I'm saying. They got the demographics and the metrics, and they know what's unsolved, unreported. You know what I'm saying? So, because this stuff costs money to pursue, and a lot of times we don't have that kind of money to pursue stuff to the end. So a lot of times we cop out and let it go. You know what I'm saying? We like, man, we just catch it on the next go around or something like that. And that's why we wind up killing somebody when we see them. You know what I'm saying? We got time for the law at that point. Y'all cost too much money, you're gonna waste my time. You know what I'm saying?
Is it safe to say this, Vic? Just expanding on what you're saying about we don't protect our black women. I'm not saying that we don't.
Hold on, I didn't say
like enough. You know, just
they don't feel protected enough by us. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Right.
Is it safe to say on our end? Like, I look at my mother, who's tough as bricks, who probably won't tell me if something wrong. I might see it in her face, ask me. She might not tell me nothing wrong. Do we look at other black women like, well, you should be tough enough, just inside of us, without saying it out loud? Do you think we do that?
I don't know, man. I can't. Speaking for my. Well, hold up. Look, hey, Drew, you go ahead and speak, because you've been quiet for a second.
On that right there?
Yeah.
I think we do. But I think some of them need to be tough, basically.
Okay, like give me an example of what how do you think they need to be tough? Because these things are geographically driven. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys got examples of what you're talking about where you are located. You know what I'm saying? That may not be the case where I live. You know what I'm saying? And when you throw in socioeconomic, psychology, and regions, then you get a different type of person that lives in that area. Do we agree on that?
True that.
Okay.
True that. So raised by their fathers and mothers.
Correct.
That type of
So Drew, like what you're about to say is relative to where you're located, correct?
Right.
Okay.
I just have more resolve because everything, like the plan don't go the way you want it to all the time. Like you gonna like a lot of women out there, they just like this ain't no movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just ain't gonna breeze through it. Ain't nobody just gonna give it to you.
Okay.
Like it's gonna be some parts of life that's tough. Like that's not the part where you know what I'm saying? You just can't fold.
Okay.
Like some situations call for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To where maybe you fold, like maybe it was just too much to carry.
Okay. So let me give you another side of that same discussion, because I don't want it to seem as though that we just telling black women to toughen up. what are we doing to reinforce the other side of that so they don't have to be as tough in those situations? Like, how do you talk to the dudes that you bump into if you get the chance to talk to them? You know what I'm saying? To tell them, you know, hey man, you're not representing us the right way, and you know, like how do you fix that other side of it? Because we can't just talk about what one side needs to do without talking about what the other side needs to do. You know what I'm saying? Based on gender equity, you know.
Well, that's why I asked the question. Like maybe we inherently we just don't look at them as weak creatures. We don't look.
You think we just see them as strong and they're supposed to be able to take it no matter what?
Yes,
you know what
that's why I asked that question.
Okay.
I think I look like for me personally. I look at my mother, which is my catalyst for a black woman, and maybe my internal eyes that you know don't think but just see what it sees. If you understand what I'm saying.
Understood it. You can only operate on what you see.
Right, and I look at black women as you gonna be alright because I know how to do my sister. You know, if she needs it, I may just sort of brush it off. Like, you know, you don't need help with a bill. You work every day. You're gonna be alright.
Yeah.
You know, even if she's crying to me.
Yeah, like I understand that part. Well, that part right there.
Yeah.
Some people, they know how to use them crocodile tears. You know what I'm saying?
Dudes got
a different version of that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they done fuck me up out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, whatever language that they gonna use. You know.
But the rape stuff and things. Remember the other night, if I can say, we kind of elaborated on it a little bit, just me and you personally.
And let me add another little piece on that. The sexual abuse of black women is the real black on black crime.
Yep. And it's more common than you.
That is the real black on black crime.
You gotta believe them.
You got to. Yeah. Because like they ain't making it up.
Right? You gotta believe them.
You gotta believe them, straight up. You gotta start there.
I've had way too many.
It ain't this common for no reason, bro.
Yeah.
Like we can't.
It's been going on.
It was in Color Purple. Like pick a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Color Purple, bro.
Bro, we can't.
They sold it to us.
On one hand, we can't say where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And then throw all of that out the window. You know what I'm saying? When it come down our women.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like how do we use that common logic as, you know what I'm saying, as a rule of thumb? Basic, cliche. You know, we talk about cliches, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you empower that cliche? You see what I'm saying? Like you gotta, when they start talking about another cliche, speak truth to power and all that good stuff. You know, we can't be out here, you know, regurgitating, you know what I'm saying, these common, you know what I'm saying, phrases, and then dismiss them altogether when it applies to our own community.
Well, that's what's going on with it.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's going on. That's why you said it, honestly. But yeah, that's what's going on. It's the memes. You know, I thought about this starting a t-shirt company with just memes that you get from Facebook. Put them on a t-shirt, people wear. You know, because it's like you start to quote Hawthorne or Socrates or something. They look at you like you got lobsters going out your ears.
Hey,
yeah. I don't know any Hawthorne or Socrates, but if I heard it, I'd be like, okay, that's not, you know, Uncle Willie around the block, you know.
Bro,
that's somebody throughout history.
Bro, we got big brain people in our own circle. We're on the phone right now and online. You know what I'm saying? Talking about some real issues. You know what I'm saying? From dirt truth, from points of credibility, points of access. Hey, look, everybody that's talking right now, do we not all know somebody that's been more than one woman that's been impacted negatively sexually?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
We don't think that that's a problem, and we in 3 different states. We don't think that that's an issue.
Absolutely a problem. Yeah.
We think that that's a woman problem. You know what I'm saying? Collectively, or what? You know what I'm saying?
No, I think that reflects on us.
Oh, that's my point. That's my point. You see what I'm saying? Like women are literally walking around among you know what I'm saying, dudes that some women, some specific women, depending on the individual experience, may see every guy as somebody that might hurt them. That's something. Think about that.
You think that gives the power, like that guy at McDonald's that grabbed that girl with no thought at all behind the counter?
No, we can't. But see, we can't. I can't put myself in the mind of a white dude that thinks he finna put hands on a black woman. Now, what I will say, he should have whooped the wheels off all the male employees in that.
Yeah, they kind of got everybody should have been up.
Everybody should have got.
They just kind of stood around.
Bruh, and then the dude go grab the girl. The dude go grab the girl. Yeah. Bro, you supposed to be around the.
You gotta come off fries, man.
Yeah. Get off the fries. Keep the basket. Keep the basket.
Yeah, keep the basket in your hand.
Hey, make it. Hey, yo, he got to wear that fry basket. You know what I'm saying? Don't grab her.
She don't just boxing by herself. Dude was like 6'4".
Yeah, and then not only that, Buddy came to McDonald's and she handed him a 10-piece though. You know what I'm saying?
But right, how you come? No, man, the unconventional 10-piece.
Yeah.
If R. Kelly is in
drums only.
Do you think everybody will change their tone?
No. R. Kelly's not the end all be all. He's just the highest point of accountability that we can go after. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he is just something that he's just a bright shiny object, you know, in a basket full of sequins, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Bright shiny object in a basket. That makes plenty sense.
So
it's the one we see.
Yeah.
It's the one we recognize.
Correct. But like the one that people don't want to call out is in a family, is in a pulpit.
Sure.
That's why I say it's the real black on black crime, bro.
Well, let's elaborate on that. Because that goes together.
Yep.
R. Kelly, a bright shining object.
Mm-hmm.
Pastors are public figures, well respected. Teachers are public figures, well respected. They're all in the same universe.
Yep.
Every single one of them, especially in the black community.
Yep.
Especially in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure somewhere along the lines that conversation, when they divulge that information to somebody in confidence, if you tell them, you're gonna ruin this person's life. Man, hey, let me interject right now too, along the same lines of when you're talking about, you know what I'm saying, black women being strong. My boy Prey just hit me off with a good one. He said, I personally don't think that we regard strong black women as truly strong. A lot of them have become tough. There's a big difference between being strong and being tough. Very true. Yeah, because they had to get it out of necessity. Well, like tough implies that you've been through something. You've been through something, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Out of necessity, but they had to. Right. But strong means overcoming it and being able to teach it. Yeah, I agree with the tough. That's what he's saying. Like that. Let's not make strong into tough. You know what I'm saying? Let's not make tough into strong. You know, so I get it. But like, okay. Mm-hmm. I think that's. I agree. Hey, this is why words mean shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They can be taken out of context. They can be put into. Yeah, hey, you're right. Hey, I used the wrong word. No, it wasn't your fault. No, he just giving another spin to it because what we're saying is that going back to what I started, these cliches that we use to describe us, they're not good enough anymore. You know what I'm saying? We got to start breaking them down a little bit more. You know, to where we don't leave room for people to make, ridiculous decisions. Like we got to stop accepting blanket apologies. We got to stop going with the all lives matter approach. You know what I'm saying about our black women. You know what I'm saying? We got to quit saying what about. Because that was you know what all lives matter to me was? Fuck Black Lives Matter. Yeah, but when we start talking about Black Matter was, it was fuck Black Lives Matter. But that's what we do. But hear what I'm saying though. Yeah. Not to go down the rabbit hole on that. But that's the same type of logic and philosophy that we use with black women when we don't believe them. And you're speaking on a mass level because somebody tells me something like that. Like, I don't think you would tell me that just shaking my leg. Right.
Mm-hmm. I just me personally, I don't think a person would volunteer, even on a heinous level. That's some wicked shit to put on somebody. Like, you said somebody raped you. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And all it takes is one for us not to believe it. Like, once one person lies, we don't believe none of them.
You're absolutely right, bro. You're absolutely right.
But that's a problem too, though, because like we lie about shit too, and we still want folks to believe us.
Yeah, my fam, sure do.
That's what I'm saying. Like we can't look. I get it. Somebody gonna lie, but we gonna lie too. Okay. But we need to. We need to.
Mad if you don't believe.
And that's straight. You don't believe my lie? What's wrong with you? Yeah. I brought out my best lie. Yeah.
I just think when it really comes to that, we just gonna have to see the lie through.
Yeah. So I need to come up with like we go from being. It's a fine line between Black Lives Matter to Black Lives Don't Matter. And Black women lives don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's a fine line between that. We got to be careful about some of the shit that we respond to and in the way we say it, because inflection and words mean shit, bro. Like, you think women just be listening to what we say and how we say it just to, what do you think they're doing? They're collecting. You know what I'm saying? They boxing. They giving you enough rope to be able to identify your behavior and associate it with some negative behavior that they've seen before so they can protect themselves, because you're not coming off as though you're trying to protect them.
Right.
You're looking for ways not to at some point.
Exactly.
Because you want from them, like you more in love with what they do for you than you are in love with them. And that's why, like, everything is survival mode for some people. And the minute they get into survival mode, then you start getting into, you know what I'm saying, the descriptions of like when Nas had that song Black Girl Lost, you know what I'm saying? Listen to that. You know what I'm saying? If you hadn't heard it in a while. He was describing it, you know what I'm saying? That's the result of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people saying I hate bitter bitches, I hate basic bitches, but you exhibiting the basic behavior that breed them. So she didn't come from nowhere.
Exactly, it's the result of what we have shown them.
So then people say, well, they got to stop this, so I'll stop doing that. Bottom line is this: somebody got to stop. And if we having this conversation, you know what I'm saying, like we're doing right now, then we got a responsibility to tell each other that we got to stop, which goes back to where I started too, when I said we got to get back to checking each other. Yeah. I can't allow, you know what I'm saying, you to mishandle somebody. You know what I'm saying? I can't, and if I can't do anything to stop you, I can't be around you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I don't.
Yeah, if that's your man's thing, you should have that.
Straight up.
Yeah, I do it to my cousin all the time.
Yeah. So until we get to the point where we're checking each other, man, like, I'm not saying that it's all a lost cause. I'm saying we just got to know that we got some limitations with some people that's in our purview that we can't do that with. You know what I'm saying? And everybody crosses the same street at different times. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to push you across the street. I'm just going to leave you where you at. Because some people got leaves, branches, or either roots in your life. You know what I'm saying? Leaves come and go. Roots are forever. Branches break off and destroy networks. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to make sure you assign the right value to that person. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Assign the right value to that person.
Correct. Yes. That's why I said.
Yeah, pretty much pick and choose your pick your balance.
Yeah, like if you're gonna give roots to somebody that don't show up when you need them, then you setting yourself up for failure to die of thirst at some point.
Exactly. And you have no right to be disappointed ever again in that person.
Right. And like you got, yeah, you got to look at your social equity like a tree, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the people that's your day ones that actually feed you and help you grow, those are your roots. You know what I'm saying? Like your leaves are people that you meet from season to season that you meet at a spur of a moment. You know what I'm saying? Like you doing something when you encounter that individual, and then depending on where you are, you may or may not see that individual again. We agree on that? Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Now the branches are extremely important. because the branches are where you put people that connect your leaves to your roots. You see what I'm saying? So like if you make that person a branch and you've assigned them a certain level of social equity in your network, but something happened and the branch break. You know when branches break, what they normally do? Don't they hit houses? Don't they tear down fences? Mm-hmm. Think about when you see what I'm saying? Like you can't assign that individual to with the equity as a branch unless they've earned it. Because if they fall and they crash, they break, you know what I'm saying? They tear up a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? They break fences. And you can't mend them fences sometimes. You know what I'm saying? They damage roofs. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes your insurance won't cover it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got.
I've had branches that fail and that broke.
And you can't fix them.
And fuck some shit up that I can't repair.
You can't repair. That's what I'm saying.
So that's why I agree with you.
And they should have been leaves. And they should have been leaves. You gave them branches and they should have been leaves.
I should have burnt
you. Hey, but you live and you learn, man. You know. Hey, and here go another cliche. You live and you learn. But you gotta live, learn, and apply. How about that?
Live, learn, exactly. Right. You can't do, because if you just leave it, you live and learn, and then, well, I know I'm fucking up.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. I just watch. Hey, you know me. Hey, I always talk about the analogy of jumping out of a tree. I don't have to watch you jump out the tree to know that if you break your legs, that I can't do the same thing better. I can't.
Right. Exactly.
I don't have to do that to know that hurts. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we gotta quit jumping out there like that. So
looking like Dave Mirror on that game on PlayStation 2.
Hey,
remember that game?
Yeah.
Oh, he crashed on the bike, y'all twisted up and shit.
Oh man, looking like a sight bike.
Yeah. It's we American, and it's the American way. That's why I don't let motherfuckers tell me go back to Africa. Motherfuckers tell me go back to Africa, I might kneecap them. Like, and I mean this, cause like, how fucking dare you? And it ain't even because I served in the army, none of that shit. We have earned the right to fucking be. This wouldn't be America without us. We are a product of America. Yes, we just as entitled as everybody fucking else. How many times, Big Andrew and the listeners, how many times y'all have been to another country and looked at them like, this motherfucker speaking a foreign language? I don't understand what the fuck.
Man, only Americans do that, bro. We go to another country and be mad because they don't speak English.
Right. Yeah, we mad because that's...
I spent 2 years in Korea, and I got tired of seeing Americans get mad at Koreans because they don't speak English. Oh, they ain't got to make you comfortable in their country?
Yeah, it's like, no, you know you're in their country, right? Like, we're entitled. Being a man that I don't understand you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if you don't get your Google Translate out, you know what I'm saying? Just figure it out. You know, too many tools, man.
It's just inside of us, man. And I don't know. I know the meaning behind Thanksgiving, but I still eat turkey with everybody else.
Well, you don't took us. Well, I'm about to say you. Oh, go ahead, man. I thought you were about to go down a rabbit hole, man. You like you?
No, I'm not. I'm just
like you early for Thanksgiving or late.
The hypocrisy of our, the hypocrisy of us.
Oh yeah, I mean like that's stuff that we can't control, man. Like you know, we can just only control how we engage in it. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So let me.
And that can go along with the R. Kelly stuff.
Yeah, like all of that's kind of like you're like exactly. It really is, man. Which is why I said a lot of times when we are not defending black women, we come off as the All Lives Matter crowd to black women. That's why I said that's the hypocrisy of it. So let me move on to something else real quick, man, because my friend, my trusted petty partner, Cas Trim, sent me a like a blurb.
I gotta check out, bro. I gotta
okay.
One right quick. Man, always a pleasure. Drew, nice chopping it up with you, bro. Man, I'm gonna make sure I share this all over the place, man. You keep me going, my brother. Love you, man. Y'all be good.
Hey, man, love you too, man. Nice talking to you, bro.
Oh, yeah, by the way, iTunes, go get iOS on your TV on iTunes. Walk.
Hey, man, go ahead and post a link to your... post a link in the thread, though. You know what I'm saying? You can put the link in the thread. That's good.
Okay, all right, bro.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, Drew, you still there?
Yeah.
All right, cool. my friend Cas, you know what I'm saying? Y'all might have seen me interact with her online. She said, she asked me to speak on teaching children the importance of credit and tell them to decline those credit card offers thrown at them in stores, and especially when they get as soon as they set foot on a college campus. He said they do impact our community, and I wish I had one of my friends named Mike Sheldon. He's not on Facebook. He don't really use social media like that. He works in corporate banking, and he gave me some game about how they market credit to Black people. You know what I'm saying? And it's called predatory fishing. You know what I'm saying? Predatory lending also. And what they do is, you know, like if you live in an area where a lot of people rent, chances are going to be a lot of Black people there, right? So you're going to get a lot of credit card offers in the mail because poor people are what drive the economy. You know what I'm saying? Like people in America, based on based on capitalism itself, money is made on financing, and who's more likely to finance? People with a lot of cash and people with a little cash. I'm gonna go with the people with a little cash. You know what I'm saying? So it's far more people with a little cash than anybody else. So they market to those communities, and that's what zip codes are being used to set that up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they can look at a zip code. They'll say you live in 76559, and where you live, they don't have a whole lot of renters because like where my house is located, you know what I'm saying, pretty nice community and stuff. So I don't get a lot of credit card offers, and that's absolutely true. But where I lived previously, I lived in a duplex that was within Killeen, and I get credit card offers all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, how did this work? And then I wound up working in Afghanistan. Me and Mike used to chop it up like we doing right now. You know what I'm saying? And he gave me his experience, you know what I'm saying, where he worked, and he was responsible for a lot of that stuff, and you know what I'm saying, and fishing, so to speak, you know what I'm saying, fishing with a P. So that part of setting ourselves up in our community is teaching people how to avoid these different, you know what I'm saying, predatory tactics and not be subject to getting a credit card that's 24% interest in, you know what I'm saying, and then the spending limit is $1,200. Now, what I know about this is like your credit matures to a certain point where, you know what I'm saying, you get favorable or unfavorable rates. But the key thing is that don't take on any type of credit debt that you can't pay for within, you know what I'm saying, a span of time before the interest hits. And if you do, you need to have a plan for that too. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the problem with that is we don't have enough generational wealth or education on how to manage generational wealth because we don't have that at all. So, you know, our expectations have been rooted in what can we go get instead of what can we invest in and multiply, you know what I'm saying, and reinforce ourselves. So I appreciate Cas for bringing that, you know what I'm saying, to the forefront and talking about it. I actually want to be able to have a full-on chat about that too. I'm gonna try to reach out to some of my guys that deal with credit stuff on a regular basis and just pipe them into the conversation, you know what I'm saying, like via speakerphone like now, and let them give y'all the nuts and bolts to it and see if you'll be interested in doing so. Because I mean, a lot of valuable information that I got out of that dude, you know what I'm saying, in like 15 minutes or so, man. So I'm getting ready to wrap it up in a few minutes, man. Hey, Drew, anything else you want to tell everybody, man? I appreciate you dedicating 2 hours of holding the phone with me, man.
Hey, man, that's all good, man. I'm just, appreciate you, man. Let me come through and kick it for the afternoon or the evening, rather.
Yeah, man. It's been a good time. Hey, I think this is the longest chat I had, man. It's like 2 hours, but it ain't been no filler. You know what I'm saying? Like all of it just been completely real. We ain't wasting no time, man. It was great facilitation on the conversation, man. This was dope, man. So,
yeah, man. Got one right here, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, it got a lot of potential going forward, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. But I ain't gonna hold you up, man. I appreciate you.
All right, man.
I'll holler at you tomorrow.
Please.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I'm reaching the end of this thing, man. Like, I appreciate everybody that hung out, stayed with it. Pay attention to the government shutdown, and don't miss any notes on that. When it comes up, we need to pay attention because we're impacted by it too. it hasn't reached, I don't know, I'm not in a position where it's impacting me, but because it's impacting my brother-in-law, it is impacting me indirectly. You know what I'm saying? You know, the group economics thing, buy your groceries. You know what I'm saying? If you got to pass somebody with a vegetable truck that's local, you see the same dude or person that's selling every day, man, you know what I'm saying? Go see what the price is like, man. You know, if you got to go past them to get to Walmart, you might well just stop right there, especially if they know some tomatoes or something, you know? So, I mean, it's really as simple as that. Like, if we are buying it, we need to be selling it. And if we selling it, we need to be buying it from people that look like us, you know, straight up. You know what I'm saying? People that's it within our community. You know that man or that woman that's selling those items is, you know what I'm saying, putting food on the table. So, you know, let's try to give that a shot too. You know, got to take baby steps and not be frightened at the concept of buying black. Let's see what else. Hey man, look, protect the women, straight up. I think we go a whole lot further by protecting women. Oh man, no, before I get off of here, hey, so Travis Scott, my man asked me to answer that question. How do I feel about him supporting the Super Bowl? I kind of don't care. The NFL has made it known how they feel about whatever issues they feel about, and I saw he got somebody to commit to some charity financially, and that's great. I am all for using whatever avenue that it takes to properly represent us, take care of business, and add back to our community. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to say what form of financial capital that we get our hands on is wrong to acquire, especially if it helps us? You know what I'm saying? Now, if you use it to exploit us, that's something else. Then that's when I got an opinion. But I don't have a negative opinion about Travis Scott. He young, let him get his money. Who knows? He might flip the script on him. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to do that. You know, as long as you ain't put on no dress, wearing no wig, I ain't got nothing negative to say about you. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you flip the other direction, then we just done with you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's taking a chance on everybody right now. And nothing's solid unless it proves itself not. So in the meantime, if that's his agenda, you know what I'm saying, I have no negative comments to say about that. But we can get back to it later, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Total Money Makeover, I've heard of that too. Dave Ramsey got a few books, but I haven't read all of them. And there's a lot of stuff I'm just trying to get through with my own intelligence and stuff and figure out what resource I have available to me. And then I like to go back and read other people's stuff after that point. Because I got enough information to get started and go far with what I got. So I want to use all my resources first and then be reinforced by new information. I don't want to have to change my entire plan when I already know enough to set myself up for success, if that makes sense. You know, it's like if you're going to go, like if you're an artist and you record music, you don't want to be listening to somebody else's stuff, right? And then you get ready to go record yours, and then you sound like somebody you just been listening to. So it's kind of like that too with certain formulas. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I got a concept that I'm proving right now, and it ain't gonna take a whole lot of time because I got the right pieces in my real estate project, and I'll be able to talk about it more in depth once I get some adequate results that I can expand on and let you know what I did step by step. But you know, I think that's another topic, man. Yo, you know me, we can sit up, we can talk, man. So pray we could talk tomorrow, and I hit you up at lunch or something. You know what I'm saying? We can go through that. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, protect the women, man. I can't say that enough. And there's never a time where that edict doesn't matter, okay? Because they matter. The next thing is, man, like I'm gonna shout my pops out every day. You know what I'm saying? Every time I do this, you know what I'm saying, y'all gonna know about him. That's him right over here. You know what I'm saying? My pops, Johnny Vinziant, you know. He passed on the 23rd of December. This is part of my methodology in making sure my life amounts to something every day. And I don't let a second pass where I don't get a chance to do something to improve myself, because I am part of my dad's legacy. You know, the other half of it being, third of it being my brother and my mom, you know. So I'm just trying to do my part, represent my family the right way, and add value to those who I feel add value to me. So with that said, you know, y'all make sure y'all check out the link where my book is located. Get you a couple copies. If you don't need it, give it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And this has been another good episode of Code Talk.